I said, I didn't know that. I just know that seasonal depression be on my back, my neck, my ass, and my crack. That's what seasonal depression be. Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely Esteem, and let's talk about something that may be kicking our arses right now. Okay, we're going to talk about seasonal affective disorder, aka seasonal depression, aka get off my neck. I know I need vitamin D. Let me tell you something. It's not like seasonal depression sneaks up on you, because it be giving you the 1-2 punch, right? But sometimes we have a tendency to think this isn't affecting me. It's not really bothering me. All I have to do is maybe if I just did, maybe if I just had. Listen, seasonal depression is the family member that you didn't invite over, okay? They just showed up at your door. 2 bags in a hand. You can't send them home because respect, right? Go home, boundaries, darling. But it be here. It be seasonal depression will vogue in your face and then go get a snack. That's what seasonal depression does. So it's like, okay, let's do a video on seasonal depression, because sometimes you don't know exactly why you're feeling a particular way, or you may not have all of the symptoms. You may sometimes feel like, oh, but I'm good this week. Next week, I may not be good. I don't know what's happening. So we're going to talk about seasonal depression, because I was like, listen, seasonal depression is whipping my ass. It is. It is. And I knew it was coming, but I really thought I could fight it. And I was like, why is it getting dark so early? Okay. Why is it getting dark so early? I don't like driving in the dark. Okay. I don't like driving when the lights hurt my eyes and I can't see the goddamn lanes. I don't like it. Anyway, so what is seasonal affective disorder? I'm going to read the definition right off the page. I actually wrote an article on it. I'll drop it in the link when I drop this video. Yes, I will. But I want to really give you the definition, and then I'll break it down a little bit better, so that way we can articulate how we're feeling when we're talking to our therapist, when we're talking to friends and family, because I think sometimes there has to be a layman's understanding of where we are, right? And since language is so fluid and it keeps changing, sometimes when people come to you and talk to you about something, because the name of the disorder has changed or the name of the illness has changed, it throws you off and it makes you think, no, that's not what I'm talking about. And you are talking about it, darling. Okay. We're talking about it. All right. I know. Get to the point. All right. What is seasonal affective disorder? Seasonal affective disorder is a strong tendency to become depressed during a specific time of the year, most often in late fall, continuing into winter. There can also be other years when the dip is milder than a full depression or even absent. Summers are most often symptom-free. The term seasonal affective disorder was coined in the 1980s by Norman Rosenthal. He was a psychiatrist and research scientist who studied mood and biology rhythm disorder in the National Institute of Mental Health. I said, I didn't know that. I just know that seasonal depression be on my back, my neck, my ass, and my crack. That's what seasonal depression be. I'm going to get it together. But it's killing me, Smalls. It really be killing me. There are 2 different onsets of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, S-A-D. And that's what I'll probably call it throughout the rest of the video, right? 1, it's the fall onset. It's also called winter depression. And the symptoms of depression begin in the late fall and early winter and ease around like spring, summertime, right? And then you have the spring onset, which is called summer depression. And the symptoms of that begin to like affect you more in like early summer, but it's less common only because one of the contributing factors to seasonal affective disorder or reported symptoms is the lack of light. because vitamin D is good for everybody. Vitamin D all over. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So let's talk about the most common symptoms of SAD, right? Because one, let's just talk about how seasonal affective. I saw what y'all did. I'm so sad. Yes, I am, bitch. I'm a little bit sad and a little bit sad mad and a little bit mad sad. That's what I am. The following are the most common symptoms of SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Increased sleep and daytime drowsiness. You know, we talk about that 3 o'clock, like, dose that we all need. But what if you feel like that all day long? It is so hard to be productive. Loss of interest and pleasure in activities formerly enjoyed. I am not a night person. Like, that's just not me. And when it gets dark early, I want to be in the house under the covers, reading a book, eating some food, maybe even laughing, kikiing, but like, I don't want to be outside. I'm just not that interested. Social withdrawal and increased sensitivity to rejection. Because your emotions are starting to feel heightened in general, especially when you are experiencing anxiety or depression, you can be rubbed the wrong way so fast. And we don't always think about that because sometimes it just, especially depending on culture, intersectionality, depending on what other medication you may be taking, you could just be rubbed the wrong way and you be ready to jump jump, and you don't mean, that's not what you mean. You don't want to do that. Irritability and anxiety, feelings of guilt and hopelessness, because that's a part of depression, right? You feel like, I should feel better than this. Like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just get myself together? Like, I don't understand why I feel like this. Or you feel like, I don't even understand why I gotta live through this shit. Like, why does it keep happening to me? And it just depends on where you are and what your severity is. Fatigue or low energy levels. Vitamin D, vitamin C, those type of things really help you out. And the more natural that you can absorb it, the better it is. And if you are a person who leaves for work, I'm on the East Coast. So if you leave for work at like 6:30 in the morning and then you get off at like 6 o'clock, how much sunlight do you have? And yes, technically you can take a lunch break, but depending on where you work, you might be trying to stay alive. So, life, it be working. A decrease in sex drive. When you don't feel good mentally, you don't feel good physically, and you don't want anybody to touch you. On top of the fact that with seasonal depression can come so many other symptoms, and weight gain is a part of that. And if you're already concerned about how you look, or you have these ideas about yourself, ideals about yourself, and how you should carry yourself, what you should be able to do, you damn sure aren't interested in anybody touching your goods. Decreased ability to focus or concentrate. When it's just called brain fog, right? Because there are times when, like, you feel so sad, but you can't remember anything, any conversations that you're having with people. It's easier to disassociate from people when it's a situation happening. It's remarkable. Trouble thinking clearly. The same as focus or concentration. I was like, an increase in appetite, especially for sweets and carbohydrates. Now, I have that year round, so I can't really speak on that for myself personally. You don't get this voluptuous from eating, lettuce and bananas. That's not what happened. Weight gain. Again, if you have an increase in appetite, one, because we're supposed to be hibernating so that when the winter comes, we can lay down. But that's a whole different video. And, I'm not a bear, but some days I feel like it when I'm snuggled up under them covers over my head. And physical problems such as headaches, stomach aches, migraines, things like that start to increase. And you're like, I just need to know, why the hell do I feel like that? So let's review. The following are the most common symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Increased sleep and daytime drowsiness, loss of interest and pleasure in activities formerly enjoyed, social withdrawal and increased sensitivity to rejection, irritability and anxiety, feelings of guilt and hopelessness, fatigue or low energy levels, decreased sex drive, decreased ability to focus or concentrate, trouble thinking clearly, increased appetite, especially for sweets and carbohydrates, weight gain, and physical problems such as headaches, migraines, stomach aches. I promise you that there's treatment out there, but it always feels like it's so far away. Or sometimes you feel like when you go to a doctor and you explain your symptoms, but you don't really have a full articulation plan about how you're going to attack how you feel. Like, one of the best things that I learned how to do through this mental health journey was to journal my feelings, to like really write down and articulate silently how I felt about any particular situation. So that way, when I started talking about it, I was already familiar with what I was going to say and what was going to happen. Like, treat your life like you're writing a book, right? You're writing your autobiography, the autobiography of a bitch who got tired of seasonal depression. We talk about, you want to be able to articulate your symptoms to your doctor, really be as detailed as possible, because sometimes you can have a blending of symptoms that match something else, and you want to make sure that you are as close to the proper diagnosis as possible. And that's why talking to your doctor, talking to your therapist, talking to your psychiatrist, talking to your counselors, it's one of the best things to do. Talking to a medical clinician, because they are the people who can properly diagnose you and then help you get to where you need to go. So one of the big things that I had to figure out was, all right, so I'm going to do this thing, right? And if you are a more holistic type person, meaning you want to do whatever you want to have as many natural occurrences happen for you to heal versus medical interventions, meaning like medication or shots, things like that. You want to try to figure out ways to help you feel better in a more natural way. And I was like, let me look and see what I can find that would help you really like get to a place that made you feel just a little bit better. Because sometimes all we really want is reprieve, right? That is one of the biggest things. And I made a list, and then I went online and kind of tried to match the list, and I was like, okay, let's see what we can come up with. There are so many other things that we can talk about, and I put references in the bottom of the article because I wanted you to be able to go back and see where I obtained the information from, just simply because, yes, I'm an advocate, but I'm not a doctor. And a lot of the information that I obtain is online, and I try to make sure that it's correct and that we can correlate that back to what we're thinking about. So some of the more holistic ways that you can relieve some of your symptoms would be to talk about it. Like, go to therapy and talk about what's going on with you. Go to your PCP doctor, your primary care physician, and talk to them about what's happening as soon as you kind of feel funky, because they may be able to help you out. I will say that a lot of clinicians nowadays are getting so educated about mental health and understanding that the link, they listen, all right? They twins, all right? They are together. Your mental health and your physical health together. Because if my mental health is in shambles, honey, I'm not putting a bra on. I'm not interested. Another thing, setting realistic goals about your depression. Like, understanding that sometimes you're going to feel down. Sometimes you're going to feel up. When you're feeling down, try to do what you can, but don't force yourself to overdo it. And if you feel like you have a burst of energy and you feel like you can get this in order, bam, knock out as much as you can. Try to get to a place where you don't feel shame or guilt because you couldn't do something. Like, Sometimes when your body is sad or your mind is sad, it's because you need to rest because you've been doing too much in general. But that's a whole nother video. We'll see. Try to talk to people or be around people who help you feel motivated, who help you feel connected, who help you feel less alone, right? Because some people just like being alone. Some people are really good loners. I'm really good with being alone, right? And when I want people around, I have beautiful people who allow me to kind of come back into their lives and sit around because I don't require a lot. But there's some people who need interaction. They need that love. They need that energy. They need the vibes of other people. And it's okay to need that. Like, this world will make you think that you cannot have anybody else in your life helping you feel full and helping you to build who you are. Yes, it is your responsibility to really work on yourself. But sometimes you need that energy. You just need like a little bit of like, yes. And then you feel so much better about yourself. Do things that make you feel better. You know, if you love going to the movies, try to go to the movies. If you can't go to the movies, try watching some of the old movies that gave you like the feel goods. Gardening, swimming, go to a cafe. If you're a Starbucks, lover, go to Starbucks, get a little frap. I can't do that because I'm lactose, and I know I can do other things, but sometimes you just would rather not do it because I know it tastes better the other way. Don't come at me with this. I'm just saying. But do something nice for somebody, like do something nice for yourself or for somebody else, or do it simultaneously. Be like, hey, we're gonna go get a mani-pedi if you can afford that, and you guys go together. You talk. You have, go have some tea. You sit down. Maybe get some appetizers. And then you go home and you feel so much better. Get regular exercise. I'm not gonna harp on this because my idea of exercise and your idea of exercise are two different things, right? Mine's is walking up and down the steps, trying to see how fast I can run in a pair of heels. Maybe yours is weightlifting. I'm not knocking you. Don't knock me. We're good. Expect your mood to be better than others sometimes. Like, there are going to be times where you have like euphoric highs and then you have debilitating lows. And that's the mood swings, right? That's the mood swings that we talk about. Trying to allowing yourself to be human, giving yourself the patience and the grace to ebb and flow through your emotions. And I know we don't like ebb and flowing because that does not feel like it's stable. But you have to allow yourself to be, because there are going to be times when you feel so sad, and there are going to be times when you feel almost manic, but give yourself the grace to do these things. Try to eat a balanced meal, like a healthy, balanced meal. Try to eat as many green vegetables as possible. Try to eat colorful fruits if you can. Try to figure out a way to cut out some of the fats. Don't take away everything that brings you happiness, because again, when you do something to the extreme, you are going to swing the other way to the extreme as well. And we don't want to have you looking like me trying to eat a half a tray of brownies and feeling sick because you was like, why did I not eat brownies for the last month? That was just trash. I don't understand. Substance disorder is a thing, right? And you want to try to stay away from alcohol. You want to try to stay away from drugs. You even want to try to, if you can, stay away from prescription medication, because some of us have addictive personalities. And yes, it may just be pain meds to the doctor, but to you, it may be a coping mechanism, right? So like really opening yourself up and paying attention to the fact that there are times in our lives where we have to be super honest with ourselves. My family, most of the people in my family who have passed away because of a substance disorder. And I understand that runs through our blood. So there are certain things that I do not allow myself to do or take, or there's a certain level that I am not willing to go to, because I understand that there's something in my DNA that can be triggered easy. And I want to make sure that I pay attention to those things. Because you don't want to, again, have the shame and the guilt on top of the seasonal depression. It's just a It's a disaster waiting to happen, and that's not something that you want to go through. Another thing, don't make irrational decisions. Don't marry the new guy you date in. Don't marry the woman that you date. Don't marry the them they. Don't you dare. Okay? You're sad. I need you to sit down and figure out if you guys can make it through the sad. Okay? Because if you can't make it through the sad, when you find happiness, it's like when you make decisions when you're happy, you look around and be like, who allowed me to make this decision? But when you make decisions when you sad, you married in Vegas, babes. Okay? You wake up, you don't even know your last name. Okay? You trying to figure out what's happening. You want to know who is them? Who is them? And why am I hiding in the closet? Because I don't know who they are. Did you see me naked? Well, who are you? Do I know you? Oh my God, why did I do that? Buying a car, buying a house, getting married, moving to another state. You want to make those decisions when you are on point, when you are as close to your healed self as possible. And sometimes depression stick around for a long time. And I'm not saying that you need to stay in a bad situation because you're depressed, but really just think about the decisions you're trying to make, because I want you to know your last name. I don't want you to wake up and be like, why are you under my covers? I don't know who you are. I don't want to do that. Remember that it's rare for us to really just snap out of depression, right? You kind of like ease out of it. You'll wake up one day, you'll feel good. You may go back down a little bit, then you'll wake up, you may feel a little bit better. Sometimes you may feel better in the daytime than you do at nighttime. There are times when you just feel like you feel sad all the time. There are times where, like, depending on the activity that's happening, you have a good wave. But just really give yourself so much patience and grace. Be tender with yourself. Be loving towards yourself. Be open to giving your mind a break and like vegging out on cartoons. Find, maybe some like game shows to watch. Find things that help stimulate your brain in a whole different way. Maybe listening to an Audible book that is funny. I try not to do scary stuff because I'm a wuss. But hey, I'm just saying, but the patience, try to focus on yourself, try to love yourself, try to surround yourself with as many happy people. No, try to surround yourself with people who care about you, and people who you care about, and people who you love, and people who bring light and life into your body. People who want to feed your soul, they want to feed your spirit, they want to feed your mind, they want to feed your emotions, they want to feed, just your intellect. They want to make sure that you feel whole as a person. And that is like, if you can get a combination of 3 of those things, it will totally help the way you see everything. So we were talking about vitamin D, right? And in the wintertime, or when it gets darker for you, if you don't have light treatments, and we'll talk about that. If you don't have light treatments, it can make you, one, you'll have a vitamin D deficiency. But I feel like for a long time, everybody had a vitamin D deficiency. And now I'm seeing like, oh no, your cholesterol's off. And I was always thinking to myself, was my vitamin D down because you guys needed to sell vitamin D, or was my vitamin D down because it was really down? I'm going to go with my vitamin D was down, but let's really think about that. But exposure to daylight, having it touch your skin, is just one of the best ways to absorb that. And so try to get as much vitamin D into your system as possible. Try to get as many vitamins into your body that work for you. Like, try to come up with a good vitamin plan to help you feel better, to give you energy, things that help with your cognitive skills, to help clear your mind, things that help, with regards to like your lungs, your organs, make sure that you're flushing your body out well, because that'll make you feel hella good. And if you feel good on the inside, most of the time you'll try your best to feel good on the outside. So let's talk about some key points about seasonal affective disorder, right? We're going to have key points about SAD. I love SAD because I'm always sad, mad, or mad, sad, depending on what's happening. And I try really hard to like break out of that. But right now, I'm feeling so mad, sad, because sad got me feeling mad. You know what I mean? Yeah. So seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that happens during certain seasons of the year, often in the fall, winter, remember, rarely in the summer, like the spring, summer, right? There's no clear cause of SAD. Less sunlight, shorter days, maybe a chemical change in your brain, those type of things can be a contributing factor. But also, if you've had trauma that has happened closer to those times, that can also affect you. So like, pay attention to those things that are happening in your life. Pay attention to major events that have happened in your life, and also pay attention to major events that have happened in the world that you either learned about or that, you know, affected you in some kind of way, because triggers are these sneaky little things. They're little tentacles. Like, triggers are like octopus. You don't know they're there until they're there, because they be, you know, hiding, and then they show up, and it's scary, and then they look. Anyway, I went too far, but just think about that. Your triggers are like tentacles. It touches everything. It wants to feel everything. It wants to hold everything down, and it remembers the feeling of everything. And that's something that you really want to think about when you're thinking about, why am I sad right now? Like, come up, like, really just dig as deep as you can to figure out what's going on, because that's the best way for you to get a solution and a resolution to what's going on. Make sure you are going to your clinicians. You're seeing your psychiatrists, your therapists, your counselors, your primary care physicians, because you want to get help as soon as possible. And you want to make sure that you have a proper diagnosis, because maybe you have 5 of these symptoms and you feel like a seasonal depression. But if you don't go to the doctor, you will not know that there may be an underlying issue that's happening, right? Because a lot of us, we are so like, I don't have time for me, but we find time for everybody else. You're going to have to find time for you. That's what you're going to do, right? And I know when I talk about articulation, I really do approach it from a holistic standpoint, but you have to heal the best way you heal. Don't heal in a way that looks normal to society. Don't heal in a way that makes your parents feel better. Don't heal in a way that makes your church feels better. You have to heal for you. You have to feel better for you. You have to work on getting to a comfortable space for you, because if you are a person who regularly suffers from seasonal depression, you want to make sure that you set yourself up to win, right? You want to make sure you set yourself up to pay attention to your symptoms, to have your mental health crisis plan already written out. We'll do a video about that. And that you have a chance to really fight this thing instead of letting it take you down. We're going to have times where we feel down. Life is going to keep lifing, because she don't know when to stop, okay? A quick recap. So, treatment for SAD can be light therapy. Light therapy is when you it's this box, and you have to talk to your doctor about this. There's a box that you sit in front of, within a certain feet, and it's to kind of mimic you sitting outside, and it's to help change the chemicals in your brain so that your brain thinks that you're outside, so that you feel better. It's super cool. Look into it. It's called light therapy. Then you have psychotherapy, and psychotherapy is really just talk therapy. It's going to see your counselor, it's going to see your psychologist, it's going to see your primary care physician, it's talking to your counselor, it's getting help, right? And the more you learn to talk about how you feel and what's going on with you, the easier it will be to come out, and the better you will feel later on. Because sometimes when you talk about what's happening with you, within your boundaries and within reason, miraculously somebody else was feeling the same way and they couldn't figure out what it was, and you help somebody else feel so much better about themselves. And lastly, medication. antidepressants. There's different ones out there. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your psychiatrist, because those are the two people who will primarily be writing your prescriptions. Because I want you to understand that like light therapy, it takes a bit. It takes a couple weeks to kick in, because you just overnight, the sun isn't going to come out tomorrow and you're going to feel better. You still have to work through that. Your brain still has to understand, oh, we're doing good. We're in a good space. And therapy, again, same thing, right? You have to talk to your therapist. You have to go a couple times to really start feeling better. And you need to like make your therapy appointments the same way you make brunch every week. If you can go to brunch every week, you can go to your therapist and talk to your therapist at least twice a month. Absolutely, you can. It's a priority, all right? Mental health is physical health. And when it comes to medication, you have to find what works for you. Some medication make people feel sick and uncomfortable. Some people are really good with taking medication. Some people feel like their medication kicks in right away and they're doing well. Other people feel like it takes forever for the medication to work. And it's up to you, and your clinician will go through and kind of work out what works best for you. And you may have to try different things. And it's okay to try different things. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It just means that this thing is not working for you. I want you to remember that you are a person first, right? So you happen to be a person suffering from seasonal affective disorder. You are a person. You are a kind, sweet, understanding, maybe a little spicy, maybe a little mouthy person who just happens to suffer from mental health disorders and or illnesses. And it's okay, because a lot of us are with you, standing with you. We are very kindred in that manner, and I don't want you to ever feel bad about that. So again, I'm going to drop the article in this video, and we're gonna just learn how to heal together. One of the reasons why I started Lovely Esteem and Healing Through Conversations is because I believe that when we can articulate our feelings, we feel so much better about advocating for ourselves and the people who we love, right? And it's a whole lot easier to advocate for somebody or for yourself when you feel educated and when you feel like you have the words that you need. And I'm not talking about, how you pronounce the words. I'm not talking about how the sentence comes out. I'm just saying being able to get your point across, because grammar does not make your mental health better. Okay. It does not. All right. Because there. You see there? Don't want to do it. But you guys be good. Remember, we're going to work through this together. Seasonal depression is kicking all of us in the arse. And we're going to still make it through, right? We're going to still make it through. All right. Turn all your lights on. Turn your lights down low. No. Have a good one. Bye.